On Friday, B and I went to the Building Approvals and Advice Christmas party. A massive shout out to those guys because they are an amazing crew. Anyway, we're at the party and we're having a chat to Sam from German Building Design. We were talking about our videos and I was saying that this week's video just was screaming for a Christmas theme, but I was really struggling to come up with ideas. I was toying with the idea of potentially doing Santa. I mean, I did it a couple of weeks ago, but let's be real, it was a piss weak attempt. So I could probably grab out the fat suit, grab a beard out of the bottom of the costume box, do it right this time. But I just wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't getting those good Christmas vibes. So we're sitting there brainstorming ideas when she came up with a doozy. Elf on the shelf. I sat there and went, what on earth is Elf on the shelf? P and Sam looked at me like I was crazy, like I'd been living on a totally different planet. Quick search of Google proved that they were right. So we had our theme, but now we had to come up with a topic. Do you know how hard it is to come up with an elf-related topic? Yeah, it's impossible. We couldn't do it. So, after tic-tacking back and forth for what seemed like forever, B and I finally decided to stick to doing what we do best, answering client questions on exemptions. Yeah, who doesn't love a good exemption? Anyway, this one came to us earlier this week from Michelle at Avenue Design. She wanted to know what the parking options were for large traditional building character overlay allotments. So that sounds like it's something up your alley. Stick around. Okay, so as I said in the intro, today we're going to focus on the various parking options for large traditional building character overlay, aka character sites. So let's just jump straight into it. First up, I want to start with the exemptions, or if you want to be technically correct, the prescribed acceptable development outcome. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. No one ever uses that terminology. Let's stick with the old school terminology and just say exemptions because we all know what that means. So, point number one, or option number one I should say, you can do a carport to the side of the existing dwelling. Now, there's two things that I want to point out there, two little gems. Number one, there is no limitation on the size of that carport. So you can go as big as you like and council has absolutely no say over it. Point number two I want to make is you can make it look as ugly and as uncharacter friendly as you like. So if you wanted, and I'm not encouraging this, I actually encourage you to go the other way, but if you wanted technically, you could do a really contemporary parapet style roof form, and again, council has no say over it because it's covered by the exemptions. Like I said, I wouldn't encourage that. Guys, do something cutesy. Come on, let's be sympathetic with the character. But if you want to, if that's your thing, if for whatever reason you want to go down that path, technically you can. Now, point number two, very similar to point number one, front. So you can do a carport to the front of the existing dwelling. Now, like here, there is no limitations on the appearance or the look of the carport. So again, if you want, you can technically do a very contemporary, very modern style carport. However, there is a limitation on the width when it comes to forward of the house. That makes sense? When you're doing a carport forward of the house, probably should have had that extra word in there, right? The requirements say that the carport needs to be a maximum of 6 metres in width, and that's measured from outer edge of post to outer edge of post, or a maximum of 50% of the average width of the block, whichever is lesser. Note that I did say average width and not frontage. So we've had quite a few sites recently where they've been sort of triangular in shape and the front boundary has been teeny tiny, but when you actually get further back, the average width is much, much bigger, which obviously works to their advantage. So just keep that in mind. So like I said, no limitation on the look, but you need to be no more than 6 metres or 50% of the average width, whichever is lesser. Now, let's go. Number 3. What am I going to call this? Let's just call it core. So, there is an exemption that allows you to enclose under the core of the upper level. Now, what is the core? Well, in super simple terms, it's the internal areas. So basically the main body of the house. It excludes things like verandas, awnings, stairs, any of that sort of stuff. So you can enclose under the main body of the house via a carport, via a garage, whatever you want to do without triggering town planning approval. Now, the example that Melissa came to us earlier this week with, oh man, it's like end of the year, I'm losing my brain. Let's try that again. The example that Melissa came to me with earlier this week, unfortunately none of these options actually worked. So it was an inner city site. It was one of those unusual sort of large lots where it was very narrow but very, very long. So technically it was over 450 square metres, which is the trigger for a large lot, but it was actually, I think it was only like 10 metres in width or something really, really narrow. So given the width, we couldn't actually fit a carport down the side. Now, being in a city, the house was right up close to the front boundary. From memory, maybe 1 or 2 metres off the front boundary. So we weren't going to be able to fit a carport in front of the house. So one of the options we looked at was, could we actually pick the house up and slide the house back on the block? Yeah, seems logical. Then you can get a carport or a garage or something in front there. Unfortunately, the exemptions say that you can relocate a house backwards on the block, provided you remain within 20% of the average adjoining pre-1947 setback. What does that mean? Well, essentially, if you've got an original pre-1947 house here, pre-1947 house here, you work out what the front setbacks are, you add the front setbacks together, you divide it by 2, you multiply by 1.2, and that gets you your upper limit of the 20% range, and that basically gives you the distance that you can slide the house back to. Now, in this instance, like I keep saying, inner city site, so it was both of the 2 houses on either side were very close to the front boundary. So when we did the calculations, we worked out that the house actually didn't have much room to move, staying under those exemptions. It could only go back ever so slightly, and it wasn't able to go back enough to be able to get a carport in front. So we had to rule out that option. Now, the next option that people naturally come to me with is, okay, what if we raise the house and stick a carport under the front corner of the house? So instead of having it entirely forward or entirely to the side, we have it partially to the front and partially to the side. Unfortunately, council's recently ruled that to be able to qualify for either of those 2 exemptions, you need to be entirely forward of the house or entirely to the side of the house. If you are not entirely forward of the house or entirely to the side of the house, you do not qualify for the exemptions, which means you trigger assessment against the traditional building character overlay design code. Bit of a mouthful. What does that mean? Well, essentially there's some clauses within there that say that the ground level cannot project forward of the upper level. There's also some requirements that talk about the fact that you need lightweight verandas with support posts. There's a few other different requirements, but essentially council draws on those various different acceptable outcomes to be able to go, yeah, no go guys. Now, people naturally turn around and they go, but I see that thing everywhere. I see Joe down the street building it right now. Unfortunately, that interpretation is only a recent thing. It came out maybe within the last 6 months or so, and approvals are valid for up to 4 years. So you will see stuff that was built, or maybe approved, let's say a year ago, that will still be being built in 3 years' time with that exact outcome. But going forward, it is something the council made very clear they are not going to support. So yes, you can technically apply for it, but I'm telling you now, you're wasting your money. Now, other options you waste your money on. Garage forward of the house. Yeah, no. Technically, yes, you can lodge an application for it. I'm telling you now, council's going to say no. Again, there's requirements within the traditional building character overlay design code, which talk about the fact that garages must be positioned in similar locations to garages and other pre-1947 houses in the area. Yes, mouthful. So essentially they use that rule to say, yeah, no, you can't have a garage forward of the house. And the reasoning there is, back in the day, a lot of people didn't have cars. If they had cars, they didn't have fancy garages sitting in the front yard for the cars to park in. They usually had garages in the back, like big storage sort of sheds back there. So the idea of having big dominant garages in front of the house, it sort of detracts from the character and the original aesthetic, amenity, streetscape, whatever word you want to use, that they would have had back in the day. So that's why council doesn't want garages forward of the house. Now, I don't think I actually talked about this before. I think I missed a key point that I was going to talk about. I was going to say why that doesn't work. Okay, so yes, we talked about did not enough room there, not enough room there. The reason that one didn't work actually was, and it's same with most situations, you can't actually fit a garage under a house normally and another bedroom or another room next to it. The width of the houses typically aren't wide enough to be able to fit that. So you think most houses are, let's say, 10 metres wide. You need a 6 metre garage, then you need a hallway, and then you need another room. It all doesn't fit. So you end up with either a really oversized hallway or a piddly little room that everyone walks through to get through to the rest of the house. It just doesn't work. So that's the reason why people don't like to have the garage sitting entirely under the upper level core. So the other alternative people come to me with is then, okay, what if we have it sticking out to the side? So what if we have, say, 2 or 3 metres of the garage out from the core, and then 2 or 3 metres, or slightly more, let's say 3 or 4 metres, under the house? That then gives us enough room to have a hallway and another room on the other side of the house. Yes, that is an option, but unfortunately it's not covered by the exemptions. So you do trigger the need for a town planning application. And that's actually one of the most common triggers that we come across. So we can sit here and work all this magic to try and get people out of an application, but that is usually where people get caught out. So we'll sit there and say, well, you should do that, and they go, you know, we don't want to do that. And we go, well, okay, then we're up for an application, your choice. So I think I've covered up all the various options. Like I said, you've got the exemptions, and then you've got other things that council simply won't approve, or you've got the things that you can actually lodge an application for. Now, there is one pointer I do need to make at this point. It does not include local character significant sites. So when it comes to the traditional building character overlay, there is two sub-precincts. We've got the local character and the neighbourhood character. This applies to the neighbourhood character stuff, which covers essentially 99% of the city. The local character significant stuff is like Bulimba, Morningside, those sort of areas. Totally different rules for that area. Unfortunately, carports, things like that typically trigger an application, even if they're normally going to be exempt across the rest of the city. So, there you go. That concludes our final video for the year. Oh, sad, I know. Now, I'm actually taking some time off and I'm heading to Cuba. So, I'm going to be overseas for the next few weeks. While I'm away, the plan is to actually rerun some of our most popular, our funniest, and in my opinion, the most important videos for you guys to see. So, keep your eye out because we will continue to repost certain videos there. Now, the other thing I want to point out, we've done a bucket load of videos this year. I think we're up over 40, almost 50 videos now. So if you think you've missed one, I can tell you now, I'm sure you've missed one, then why not go to our Facebook page, click on the video tab and trawl through those various videos. So you don't need to worry about me not recording them while I'm away. You can get your video fix over your holiday break. There you go. That's everything I want to say. I want to end by saying Merry Christmas and massive thank you everyone for watching these videos over the years, or over the year I should say. It's been fun. And next year we'll do it all again. So until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no actually, I've got three. Number one, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number two, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number three, what was my number three? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all. Bye.